You may feel like you're homesick for another planet, another star system, another time, another incarnation, another romantic relationship. But the truth is, and very few people know this on this planet, what you are longing for is God. Your homesickness is a memory of being the one whole consciousness, of full integration, of absolute love and harmony and sweetness of being, because God was whole and you were that. I am that I am. You were that am that you am. And on a deeper level, you remember this and you know this. So as a child, you could have been looking up at the sky saying, when can I go home? How did I get here? What's it all about? And that is the soul remembering that before it became a soul, it was one. All is one. One is the all. And when God felt a part of itself decide to individualize, it did not realize that breaking off would cause such tremendous pain. So God said, I think I'll separate, I'll see myself, I'll observe, I'll partake in the dream, right? But what it didn't realize was how tremendously difficult and painful it would be to separate into an illusion, because this separation is an illusion. And that's what all the spiritual texts talk about. You know, they talk about Maya, meaning the illusion of life, of the earth. In the Matrix, talking about being lost in the Matrix. You know, people talk about being awoke, being woke, being awake, being conscious. It's the illusion. Now we have to work and play in the illusion, and we have to respect the illusion, right? Because when you're in the illusion, you're playing by the illusion's rules. Somewhat. You can bend things, you can learn. When you get really good with energy, you can bend energy, you can play with the rules. But the law of gravity affects us whether we believe in it or not. So if you run and jump off a cliff, most likely you're going to fall to your death. Yeah, I think we're all agreed upon that. We have agreed upon certain physical laws that affect us all, whether we acknowledge them, study them or not. Gravity will affect you. If you jump off a building, you will fall to your death. So that homesickness, those blues, the blues we get as spiritual beings temporarily in temporal vessels, our ego mind wants to pin that on something. It wants to say, oh, I'm sad because I don't like my job, and I'm feeling these blues because I want a partner. I want more money. I want to own my own business. So that's why I have depression. But it's way deeper than that. Your soul remembers that it was once whole and complete, harmonious, happy, love. And it's not that you dislodged that when you moved into the illusion, but it's that you forgot. You had a spiritual amnesia wash over you as you incarnated. Like, think about it. It's like a child. It's like if a child's parents die, if you lose your best friend, if you lose a mother and father, it's going to have such a deep impact on how you see yourself, on how you feel about existing. And we literally became children of God when we separated and went into the illusion. So that's the deep, heartfelt pain. And you're seeking it in external things, which is more illusion. So as we are evolving into more ascended beings of light here, we have to see through the illusion and realize that the ego mind, it likes to rationalize everything. It wants a logical reason. Why am I feeling this pain? Well, you're feeling this because the serotonin in your brain is not being produced enough, blah, 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 blah. It's not true. That's a myth. They've debunked that the whole serotonin thing. You can look into that. But back to the point of what I'm saying to you, when you're feeling that longing, you might want to say, well, I'm from Arcturus, so that's what I'm longing for. But you need to go deeper than that. Yes, you more than likely have been an Arcturus and have simultaneously having what we call a past lifetime, having that lifetime now as you're in this incarnation. And perhaps there is a part of you enjoying that lifetime better, so you're connecting to that. But if you really go deep into the roots of your pain, you'll see that your relationships were about seeking God, your sense of purpose or your work or your college, all this stuff you're chasing outside of you, it's all that you're looking for God, but you're looking for God where God is not, because God is not part of the illusion. Now you are, and you are God. But if you think about people even seeking relationships, and we are social beings, right? We need relationships, but we have to also see through the fact that so much of relationships are two egos coming together and clashing. And the majority of socially acceptable romantic relationships here, and even friendships and family dynamics, play out through those ego rules. But if you want to expand and become more enlightened on your spiritual journey, you need to be able to see through that. Doesn't mean you're not going to have relationships and have friendships and have family members. Of course you are. As I said, play the game. You have to be in the illusion, and you have to respect it, right? But doesn't mean you have to fall for it. You don't have to go asleep. You don't have to become a zombie within the illusion. You can remember and understand that your homesick blues is a reminder that you volunteered. Hi, I'll go off and experience myself. And it's not just that you thought it would just be you and you. You thought that separation into the illusion of Maya would be you and God. But it was so intensely painful, and it was so difficult for that separation to occur. God allowed it because God is all giving and free will and liberated. God is not a tyrannical control freak. So you got to have your separation, but it was so painful that you actually split into billions of particles. And now everywhere you go and you're meeting other people, you're actually meeting yourself. You're having conversations with the self all the time. We're fractals mirroring each other, right? We are all little tiny drops of the ocean all together creating the big ocean that is God. This homesickness, some of you, and again, this message is not for everybody. And I talked in depth about this from a personal perspective on my Telegram private group, Super Soul Skills there. And I only left it up for a short time because this is for people, for souls who have done tremendous inner work. And it's mainly for those of us who are channeled on behalf of the collective. So a lot of the times we will be crying and we will be feeling on behalf of the collective. And it's actually not even a personal thing. It's not a personal experience. And try to explain that to someone who's not in any shape or form awake or connected to their higher self. it will sound like crazy town. So don't try and don't waste your energy trying to wake up people who don't want to be woken. Let people be where they are and love them wherever they are, and see everybody as the fractal, right? Everybody is still a part of those billions of fractal sparks of God that flew off in the separation. So they're exactly where they're supposed to be, and you must respect that. I've spoken about this in many of my videos and articles, and we often project this longing for God onto people and situations and job roles and identities and our bodies and our hair and our boobs and our penises, and we project it onto human temporary things. Don't do that, because you're never going to get the response, and you're never going to get the depth of feeling and love that you're really, really craving and that you really want. Go to God. Go within. Because remember, you are that spark from that one energy. So you are an extension of that energy. You are God. But you have to respect this illusion that you're playing in. It is a playground. We have to respect the rules of the playground. So I hope this message reaches the right people. I'm told that it will. When you feel that pain of that intensity, just remember you're reliving that past separation. Think about when the baby is born, it bawls its eyes out crying because it feels the separation. It feels the shock and trauma of that. And that's even a much, much smaller experience of separation, because by that stage, that baby being born now has had simultaneous plenty of past lives. So it's already somewhat acclimatized. But that intrinsic pain that I know some of you understand what I'm talking about, where nothing heals it, nothing touches it. It's like you have to sit with it for a few days and you have to breathe into it and heal it on behalf of the collective. We are being asked as channels, as healers, as teachers of spirit, to go through the layers of that memory of that separation and to do our best to transform it into understanding that this is part of our homecoming. By having all these lives and transforming and growing and learning and expanding, we are all walking each other home. We are. And I don't care who the person is next to you, and you say, oh, but they're this and they're that, and it doesn't matter. They're sparks of God. See that in them. See the light. When they're driving you crazy, when they're, when they're melting your head, just rise above that and go back into the memory of the wholeness of who you are, which is a child of God. You are God. So know that they're God too. They've just forgotten. They've fallen for the illusion, and that's okay. They will wake up when they're ready. But love them. And the more you love them, the more your high frequency of loving light is there, the more of an example you can be for them. So I wanted to feel the compassion of God for you and for myself, who do go through these periods of remembering home and longing for that home, and just have compassion for yourself. Be kind. I'm very gentle with myself when I'm feeling that. I just pull back from all the giving and the caring, that work I do, and I take a big deep breath of compassion and love from God into myself, reminding myself that on some level we wanted this, and we created this, but we're also creating our way back home. And we are together walking each other home. So be kind, be compassionate, be patient with people, and be patient with yourself. We're often full of patience for everybody else, but very little for the self. So remember, the others are just reflections of you. So if you give that, think of a 3-year-old. You'd always have patience and kindness for a 3-year-old. So do that for your own inner child. Do that for yourself. Okay? Sending you love, mercy, compassion. Mother, Father, God loves you and wants you to enjoy your vacation here in this lifetime. Okay. You can show your appreciation for this message or that it resonated just by clicking the like button, because I'm curious to see how many of us out there are actually getting this now and experiencing this, because this is something that's not really talked about, because I think a lot of people are ashamed of that pain, of that remembering, or maybe a lot of people I find have the pain but don't know what it's about. They have great lives, they're happily married, they've good jobs. They're like, why am I feeling this pain and depression? I should be over the moon. This could be a message for you. So give me a thumbs up if this resonated, and I look forward to reading your comments. God bless.